During his State of the Union speech, Joe Biden, unsurprisingly, said this.
Do something about gun violence. Thank God. Thank God we did. Passing the most sweeping gun safety law in 3 decades. That includes things like that the majority of responsible gun owners already support. Enhanced background checks for 18 to 21 years old. Red flag laws, keeping guns out of the hands of people who are a danger to themselves and others. But we know our work is not done. Joining us tonight is Brandon Sei, a 26-year-old hero. And 2 weeks ago, during the Lunar New Year celebrations, he heard the studio door close, and he saw a man standing there pointing a semi-automatic pistol at him. He thought he was going to die, but he thought about the people inside. And in that instant, he found the courage to act and wrestled a semi-automatic pistol away from the gunman who had already killed 11 people in another dance studio. 11. He saved lives. It's time we do the same. Ban assault weapons now. Ban them now. Once and for all.
Make no mistake, Brandon Sei is an absolute hero. He put himself in a line of fire to protect people, and he deserves all of the applause and praise that we can give him. But I have one question. Why didn't Joe Biden invite the lady that did this the day after Uvalde shooting?
A woman in Charleston is being credited for averting a mass shooting.
Or why didn't Joe Biden invite Elijah Dickens, the 22-year-old who did this?
Another American mass shooting with a rare twist after authorities near Indianapolis say a Good Samaritan armed with a handgun shot the gunman and ended the chaos.
Or how about Jack Wilson, who did this?
The gunman shot and killed 2 people before Jack Wilson pulled out his firearm and fired a single fatal shot. The community is calling him a hero who saved lives.
We haven't figured it out yet. The reason Joe Biden didn't invite these people is because they used a gun to save lives. Because Joe Biden and the gun control lobby only care about their anti-gun agenda. And it's hard to demonize guns in the hands of good guys if you're praising good guys who use guns to save lives. That's why Joe Biden had Brandon Sei at this State of the Union speech. They wanted to push the narrative that you don't need a gun to stop mass shooters. So they brought Brandon on to essentially point out that, look, this whole argument that only a good guy with a gun can stop a bad guy with a gun isn't true. And you know what? He's kind of right. It's not true that the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. However, the best way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. If this were not the case, the Secret Service wouldn't be carrying guns to protect Joe Biden. The reason they do this is because they know if someone were to attack Joe Biden with a gun, the best way to deal with that person would be to have one of their good guys with a gun. But who am I kidding? Joe Biden and the gun control lobby know this, but they prioritize their control over you over their desire to empower you to be safe. That's why he keeps talking about banning so-called assault weapons. Joe Biden knows that more people are killed by hands and feet than they are by an AR-15. He knows more people are killed by blunt objects than they are in AR-15. He knows that more people are killed by knives than in AR-15. And it's not even like we're talking a small difference. In 2020, 6,345 people were killed by rifles of all types, not just AR-15s, versus 72,242 being killed by knives, or 43,479 by blunt objects. However, if we're going to be completely honest, Brandon did use a gun to stop the bad guy with a gun. The only reason the bad guy didn't continue with the attack after Brandon took his gun away is because Brandon pointed that same gun back at the bad guy who allegedly had more than just that gun.
Surveillance images show the moment Brandon Sei wrestled the gun away from the killer, preventing him from entering a second ballroom and shooting more victims. He spoke with Good Morning America's Robin Roberts.
I lunged at him with both my hands, grabbed the weapon, and we had a struggle. We struggled into the lobby, trying to get this gun away from each other. I was able to pull the gun away from him, shove him aside, create some distance, point the gun at him, intimidate him, shout at him and say, "Get the hell out of here, I'll shoot."
To make matters worse, it's not even like the assault weapon ban from 1994 to 2004 actually did anything. Sure, Joe Biden and the gun control lobby will be intellectually dishonest and say that mass shootings with so-called assault weapons went down based on a study conducted after the original assault weapon ban. But here's the part they don't tell you about in terms of what that study found. Although the ban has been successful in reducing crimes with assault weapons, any benefits from this reduction are likely to have been outweighed by steady or rising use of non-banned semi-automatics with large capacity magazines, which are used in crime much more frequently than assault weapons. Therefore, we cannot clearly credit the ban with any of the nation's recent drop in gun violence. Having said this, the ban's impact on gun violence is likely to be small at best and perhaps too small for reliable measurement. Assault weapons were used in no more than 8% of gun crimes even before the ban. So when Joe Biden goes on his tirade about banning assault weapons, just understand that he and the gun control lobby won't do anything, but they know you all's memories are very short. So if the assault weapon ban passes and it has no effect, which it won't because they aren't used like that, they know when there's another shooting, they can exploit that shooting to go after the next set of guns and then rinse, wash, repeat until all the guns are gone. Well, until all of your guns are gone, because the criminals will still have their guns and the government will still have their guns. So don't say I didn't warn you. You know, we talk a lot about empowerment in this country, except for when it comes to the Second Amendment. However, I can't think of anything more empowering than having the most effective tool to protect you and your family. So help me spread this message by liking and sharing this video with everyone you know. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment, because the Second Amendment, when it said militia, it wasn't talking about the government. It was talking about you. Also, if you want to know where to find the I'm the Militia shirt and merchandise, click the I'm the Militia link in the description section of this video. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And most importantly, make sure you hit that bell symbol.